Good morning students, today we are going to discuss with the next topic called as salts. Yesterday already we have started the salts. It is from the chapter of acids, bases and salts. Yes, salts. These are the chemicals which have been formed from the acids and bases. The salt has been formed from the acids and bases. We are having multiple types of salts. Start with the neutral salt or a normal salt. It is also neutral salt when a strong acid reacts with a strong base to get a normal or a neutral salt. Next, it is acid salt. Next one is basic salt. The fourth one is double salt. Fifth one is mixed salt. The last one is considered as complex salt. Okay, we are having 6 types of salts. It is normal salt. It is also called as neutral salt because from this normal salt we are getting a neutralization reaction. Usually acid reacts with base to form a neutral content. Normal salt, acid salt, basic salt, double salt, mixed salt and complex salt. Usually for your syllabus 5 salts are there. Out of 5 salts they are from this normal salt, acid salt, basic salt and mixed salts are there. There is no double salt and complex salt. This double salt and complex salts are there for the class 11 and class 12. We will go for this. We will go with one by one, step by step. We will learn all the 6 points. Starts with the normal salt. Yes, what is a normal salt? Here, complete replacement of hydrogen will be there. For example, sodium hydroxide is reacting with the hydrochloric acid. Sodium hydroxide is reacting with the hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride and water. Yes, here is the reaction. Sodium chloride is reacting with the hydrochloric acid to form sodium chloride and water. This sodium chloride is considered as a normal salt. Sodium chloride is considered as a normal salt. If you go for one more example, now sodium hydroxide reacts with the sulfuric acid. Sodium hydroxide reacts with the sulfuric acid to form sodium sulfate and water. Yes, here you have to balance the reaction because sodium is 2 here and here the sodium is 1. You have to balance it. Yes, 2 NaOH. Now sodium is 2, sodium is 2. Sulfate is 1, sulfate is 1. Now H2O, it is 2H2O. Yes, we are having 2 examples, that is sodium chloride and sodium sulfate. These are the example of a, because forms by the sodium hydroxide, a strong base, hydrochloric acid, a strong acid. Strong base, once again strong acid. we have got a normal salt. Next we'll go with the acidic salt. Acidic salt. Actually, what happens in the acidic salt? In this acidic salt, there will be a partial replacement of hydrogen will be there. Partial replacement here, total replacement of hydrogen was there. Here it will be a partial replacement of hydrogen will be there. Hydrogen ion. Partial replacement. Example will be there. That is sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is reacting with this, but what happens? The same thing is there, but here hydrogen is partially ionizable. Hydrogen is partially ionizable. How it is? Sodium hydrogen sulfate plus water. See here, sodium hydrogen sulfate or sodium bisulfate. It is here the hydrogen also remaining because there is no full replacement of hydrogen has taken place. How it has been taken place in this? The quantity of sodium hydroxide is more, automatically total replacement of hydrogen over there. Here quantity of sodium hydroxide is less, automatically it is a partial replacement of hydrogen will be there. So there will be a change. Na2SO4 it is called as normal salt. NaHSO4 it is called as acidic salt. Next we will learn about the third salt, that is basic salt. Yes, if you go through the basic salt here, replacement of hydroxyl, a partial replacement of hydroxyl ion will be there, not hydrogen, hydroxyl ion, OH ion. For example, basic lead chloride or basic magnesium chloride. Basic lead chloride, how it is formed? I'll give the example, that is basic lead chloride. Basic lead chloride, it is an example for the basic salt. How it is? Yes, if you go through the lead hydroxide, lead hydroxide is reacting with the hydrochloric acid. Lead hydroxide is reacting with the hydrochloric acid. It is forming yes, it is there. It is a partial replacement once again, not complete replacement will be there, only partial replacement will be there. So only this will be remained along with the lead. So it is called as basic lead chloride. Lead chloride is reacting with the hydrochloric acid to form basic lead chloride along with the water, PbOHCl, basic lead chloride. It is the third type of salt. We will go with the fourth type of salt, The fourth type of salt is a double salt. Yes, basic salt. Next one is double salt. Yes, double salt is formed when the two simple salts when they dissolve and they form crystalline. Dissolve and crystalline. Two simple salts. Which are those? The example for double salt is potash alum. Potash alum is an example for the double salt. It is having two salts. Potash, it indicates it is a potassium sulfate. Alum, it indicates aluminium sulfate. When they combine or dissolve in the water, that is potash alum. I will write the formula of this potash alum. The potassium, it is K2SO4, yes. Second one is aluminium sulfate, and water. Hydrated potassium sulfate, because when it dissolved in the water, it forms potassium sulfate and aluminum sulfate, called as potash alum. How it is formed? When they combine with each other, it is formed. A very simple reaction. Starts with here, potassium sulfate. Potassium sulfate is reacting with the aluminium sulfate. Along with the water. Yes, it is the reaction. The same thing. Yes, potassium sulfate, aluminium sulfate will form along with the water. It becomes potassium sulfate, aluminium sulfate along with the water, potash alum. It is the double salt. Both the salts are there. Both the salts are available here. There is no combination here, mixing something, a new chemical. All are combining with each other. Potash alum. It is the fourth type of salt. Double salt, usually you are going to learn in the class 11. Okay, this about the potash alum. Maybe it is also already there in the notes. Potash alum is there, Mohor salt is there. Potash alum and Mohor salt both are available in the notes. We will go for the next part, that is mixed salt. Next part of the topic is mixed salt. What is this mixed salt? Actually, this mixed salt usually will be having acidic radical or more than one basic radical. This mixed salt will be having more than one acidic radical or more than one basic radical. Calcium oxychloride. a very simple chemical. It is also called as bleaching powder, CaOCl2. CaOCl2. Sodium potassium carbonate. Sodium potassium carbonate. Here, acid radical, basic radical. Oxygen and chlorine are acid radical. Two acid radicals are present in the one salt. One is oxygen, one more is chlorine. Two acid radical. And if you go for the sodium potassium carbonate, two basic radicals are there. It is sodium and potassium, both are available. It will be having two acid radical, or a salt will be having two basic radical. A single salt, it is single salt. Calcium oxychloride, potassium, sodium potassium carbonate. Yes, these two are having, here you can see sodium potassium. These are considered as basic radical. This is considered as acidic radical. Basic and acidic radical. A single salt will be having two radicals. It is considered as mixed salt because this salt is for your syllabus. Yes, calcium oxychloride is for your syllabus as a bleaching powder. Calcium oxychloride as a bleaching powder. Okay, this is about the mixed salt. The last one is complex salt. Yes, the word itself is a complex. This salt will be having, or this salt will be formed by the dissociation of two ions. One will be a simple ion, one more will be a complex ion. Simple ion and a complex ion will form the complex salt. Simple ion and complex ion. Which is that simple ion? Simple ion and complex ion. When you get the example of this complex salt, you will get the idea which will be a simple ion, which will be a complex ion. For example, sodium argentocyanide. Yes, a new word. We heard about the sodium chloride. We heard about the sodium hydroxide. We heard about the sodium sulfate. Sodium argentocyanide. A very lengthy point. Complex salt. Usually you are going to learn this complex salt. I told earlier only. Complex salt and double salt you are going to learn in the class 11 and 12. Types of salts these all are. Sodium argentocyanide. Apart from sodium argentocyanide, I have learned the word called as sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is a base. Sodium chloride, it is a sodium sulfate is a salt. Sodium bicarbonate is a salt. Sodium argentocyanide, bit new word because sodium will be a simple ion. Argentocyanide will be a complex ion. It is formed due to the dissociation of simple and complex ion. I'll write the formula on it. Okay, its chemical equation. It is the formula of sodium argentocyanide. Yes, it is a reversible reaction. It forms in both the ways. Okay. Sodium ion and argentocyanide ion. Yes, sodium argentocyanide, where sodium is a simple ion. It is a complex salt. Sodium argentocyanide is a complex salt. Sodium is a simple ion. And argentocyanide is a complex ion. Usually, I told you these are the topics which you are going to learn in the class 11 and 12. Especially the word will be there, coordination, compounds and all those things. There are going to learn these all of the salts. Yes, double salt, especially double salt and this complex salts you are going to learn in the 11 and 12. Okay, these are the 6 types of salts. The first one was normal salt or a neutral salt. Normal or neutral, both are same. Neutral almost all strong acid, strong base will make it as a neutral, or an acid or a base make it as a neutral. Normal salt. Second one is acid salt. Third one is basic salt. Fourth one is double salt. Fifth one is it is here mixed salt, and sixth is complex salt. If you go through the normal salt formed by through the acid and a base to form it as neutralization reaction is also there, and it is called as a normal salt. Sodium chloride and sodium sulfate are the example of normal salt. If you go for the second one, first I'll rub it. The first one salt is normal salt, that is example is sodium chloride or sodium sulfate. Sodium chloride or sodium sulfate is an example of a normal salt. Second one is acid salt. Acid salt where the partial replacement of hydrogen will be there. Here complete replacement of hydrogen will be there. Here the partial replacement of hydrogen will be there. And example is sodium hydrogen sulfate. Sodium hydrogen sulfate or sodium hydrogen phosphate. Sodium hydrogen phosphate. Sodium bisulfate. It is acid salt. Third one is basic salt. The basic salt actually here once again partial replacement of hydroxide ion will be there, and example is basic lead chloride. Basic lead chloride. The example of base, that is example of basic salt is basic lead chloride. Its formula is PbOH, that is Cl. Partial replacement is not a complete replacement. Complete replacement will be having one is directly the salt will be available. The fourth one is double salt. I told it is a formation dissociation of the chemical here. So these are the chemical dissolved in the simple salts. Two simple salt dissolved in the water, that is potash alum, its formula is potash is potassium sulfate, alum is aluminium sulfate, along with the water. potassium sulfate, aluminum sulfate along with the water. Okay. The fifth one is, just now we have studied about the fifth topic, that is fifth salt, that is the mixed salt. Yes, example for the mixed salt is calcium oxychloride or sodium potassium carbonate. Calcium oxychloride or sodium potassium carbonate, these are the example for the mixed salt where two basic radicals or two acidic radicals or two basic radicals will be there in a single salt. Two salts, two basic radicals, it is two acidic radicals or two basic radicals in a single salt. It is a single salt, two acidic radicals are there. It is a single salt and it is having two basic radicals. Last one is complex ion or complex salt. Yes, complex salt, actually it is a formation due to the dissociation of simple ion and complex ion. Example is sodium argentoxide. Just now we have discussed about the topic. Sodium argentocyanide and its formula is okay, NaAgCl taken twice. It is the formula of, these are the 6 types of salts. Yes, these are 6 kinds of salts. Yes, next we are going to discuss with the main part of our syllabus, that is salts, because especially this chapter called as acids, bases and salts, which carries 4 marks for the board exam. They highlight more for the salts and pH value. Especially yesterday we have discussed already the pH value. From today and tomorrow we are going to discuss about the salts, the main part of this our syllabus, that is salts, because maximum will be covered from that part only in the exam. Yes, we are having 5 types of salts. Five salts are there for our syllabus. Already I told yesterday, that is the first salt is sodium chloride. I think so we all are familiar with this salt, sodium chloride, the most important salt in our life. Usually we all are using the salt in especially cooking purpose. Next, the second salt is bleaching powder. Bleach, I think so. The smell of chlorine will mix to get a bleach. Very easy to identify because of chlorine actually. Yes, that is bleaching powder. Yes, the third salt is, the first salt is sodium chloride, second salt is bleaching powder, so third salt is sodium carbonate, that is baking soda. Yes, baking soda, sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium chloride, it is NaCl, bleaching powder. I told it is also called as calcium oxychloride, CaOCl2. Baking soda, NaHCO3. Yes, the fourth salt is washing soda. washing soda, sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate decahydrate, or so because the water content is also there, so called as sodium carbonate decahydrate, or it is also called as hydrated sodium carbonate. Hydrated sodium carbonate. The last salt of your syllabus is plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris, its formula is calcium sulfate hemihydrate, CaSO4 dot half H2O. Yes, these are the salts for your syllabus. We are having a different process, especially because in out of 5 these salts, any one or two salts, because usually we find if it is a 3 marks question, if it is a 3 marks question in the board exam, they ask the or question, that will be usually optional question will be there, or question will be there. They may ask about 2 salts. Usually the question will be applied basis, applications, like what are the uses of sodium chloride, chemicals, or the byproducts of sodium chloride, or what are the uses of bleaching powder, uses of this anything here, how it is formed. They may ask the question how it is formed, how this bleaching powder is formed, what are the uses of it. Well, if you go for the washing soda, what are its uses? Baking soda, usually the word baking soda is very familiar in our daily life. We are using the soda in some of the foods to make it as crispy. That is from the baking soda. Washing soda, usually it is used in the, automatically it comes the word washing. Yes, it is also used for the cleaning, removal of hardness of water, hardness from the hard water. Plaster of Paris, POP, usually we are familiar with the POP also. Even so many idols are made with the help of POP. Now, step by step, we are going to learn all the salts, starting with the sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. Already we have learnt about the sodium chloride because the neutralization reaction starts with this sodium chloride only. Sodium chloride, where it has been formed with the help of sodium carbonate. Sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. When both will react with each other, at that time we are going to get sodium chloride and water. Sodium chloride is formed. It is a neutral salt. At that time I use the word normal salt. Neutral only. Neutral salt, and its pH value is 7. pH value is approximate 7 will be there, because strong base, strong acid in neutral salt. It is a strong base, almost a pH of 14, and strong acid, the pH below 1, and we are going to get a neutral salt, that is sodium chloride. pH value is 7. Second point, actually sodium chloride, we have seen that sodium chloride, if you go for the physical property of sodium chloride, yes, sodium chloride is, if you go for the bond, it is an ionic compound, where having high melting and ionic compound, with transfer of electrons, you can take it as transfer of electrons. Sodium chloride is an ionic compound, and it is used for the cooking purpose. Usually cooking purpose, we are having a lot of byproducts of this sodium chloride. Not the sodium chloride, aqueous solution of sodium chloride, it is nothing but when the, it is also called as brine, aqueous solution of sodium chloride, it is called as brine. Yes, pH value is 7, it is used for the cooking purpose. Yes, I think so. If you remember the sodium chloride, we are having a long history of sodium chloride because there was a movement. It is called as salt satyagraha for the sodium chloride only. There was a tax on this salt. You have to pay the tax to get the salt. It is called as Dandi March, which was led by our freedom fighter, the father of nation, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi or Mahatma Gandhi ji. Yes, from that time the salt has become more familiar. That is a most important moment in the history of. Okay, now we'll go with this sodium chloride. Sodium chloride, its pH value 7, it is used for the cooking purpose. Now we'll go for this byproducts of this sodium chloride. Byproducts of sodium chloride. What happens? Due to sodium chloride, we are going to get three chemicals. The first one, sodium chloride, reacts with the water and electric current is passed. It forms sodium hydroxide, chlorine, hydrogen. Yes, sodium chloride is reacting with the water and it passes the electric current, sodium hydroxide, chlorine and hydrogen is formed. Here, sodium hydroxide, it is an alkali. Chlorine is formed, hydrogen, it will be liberated. You have to balance this equation. Yes, 2NaCl, 2NaOH. Yes, formation of this process, formation of this whole chemical reaction is called as Chlor-Alkali process. I mentioned that name here because chlorine is liberated when the alkali is formed. Chlorine is formed, alkali is formed, so the process is called as Chlor-Alkali process. Lot of times they have asked the question on this Chlor-Alkali process. Okay, lot of times they ask the question about this Chlor-Alkali process, and it is formed due to the electric decomposition of aqueous solution of sodium chloride. It is also called as brine. Okay, step by step we are going to learn the uses of byproducts, the products of sodium chloride, that is the products of Chlor-Alkali process. The first one is hydrogen. Hydrogen, what is the use of hydrogen? What are the uses of hydrogen? Actually, hydrogen usually it is used as a fuel. If you know about the hydrogen, if you remember the hydrogen in the class 8 as a calorific value, the hydrogen calorific value is very high. Huge amount of heat will be liberated with the help of hydrogen. Yes, 1.5 lakh kilojoule of heat is liberated from the hydrogen itself only. It is used as a fuel for the rocket. Instead of hydrogen nowadays they are using the hydrogen also. Hydrogen is used as a fuel. Yes, hydrogen it is also used for the making of hydrochloric acid. Hydrogen, the word is related, so automatically it comes as a hydrochloric acid. Next, it is also used in the making of ammonia, the fertilizer, NH3, making of ammonia. Ammonia, because once again the hydrogen is there, and also it is used for the making of margarine. Yes, it is the use of second. We go with the chlorine. Chlorine. What are the uses of this chlorine? What are the uses of hydrogen? It is used for fuel. It is used for the making of hydrochloric acid, ammonia, as well as at last is margarine. Okay. Next, what are the uses of chlorine? Chlorine is used for the CFC, chlorofluorocarbons. I think so. You know about this chlorofluorocarbon, which is usually available in the air conditioning, and a single CFC is able to destroy lakhs of ozone layer, lakhs molecules of ozone layer. Yes, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. Okay, then PVC pipe. I think so. You heard about the PVC pipe. Actually, PVC pipe, it is polyvinyl chloride. Maybe you are seeing the advertisement of PVC pipes in the television. Usually, it is made up of PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Yes, once again, chlorine is here, made up of hydrogen is there for the preparation of hydrochloric acid. Chlorine is there because both are the combination here, HCl, making of hydrochloric acid. Okay. Then, apart from that, chlorine is used in the swimming pools. I think so. You know about it. It is also used in the swimming pools. It is also used in the bleaching powders. Bleaching powder, the formula itself is there, CaOCl2, calcium oxychloride. There also this chlorine is used. The last one is sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, a chemical which is used for the making of bleaches, which is used for the making of, I think so the first was uses of the bases used in the manufacture of soaps and detergents. It is a major okay. These are the topics, uses of the first salt, the byproducts of sodium chloride. Three byproducts are there, that is sodium hydroxide, chlorine and hydrogen. Sodium hydroxide is produced, it is an alkali, chlorine is produced, chlor. The process is called as Chlor-Alkali Process. Multiple times this question has been came for the board exam. Okay, tomorrow we are going to discuss from the second salt, that is bleaching powder. After that we are going to discuss about the third salt, that is baking soda, then washing soda, at last plaster of Paris. Thank you. Have a nice day.